and welcome back to No Time for Neutral, the podcast where we are mourning the end of summer. Schools are back in session across Montana, and our congressmen have even finally decided to wrap up their summer vacation and attempt to go back to DC and do their jobs. But the talk of the weekend was Donald Trump's health is rumored to be really bad. Right now.
There was a lot going on social media this
it was
weekend.
basically a party on the internet.
Conspiracies and wild things. What's going on, Georgie?
I don't really know. He's had these nasty hand bruises, like on the back of his hand, that have been visible in photos and such for the last couple of weeks.
Like liver spots or worse?
No, like IV bruising is what it looks like to me.
Okay.
Like he's had like many IVs put in the back of his hand as of late. But like I'm not a doctor. I don't know. But so there's been like some speculation about that. There's been some speculation about like some swelling in his face. And what caused all of the rumors essentially was that he wasn't seen in public for a week.
Oh.
Which is very uncommon.
Sure. Especially for him.
The president of the United States. Yeah, and for a man who loves media attention more than
for the narcissist
anything.
too. Lives for media attention.
Yeah, so he had no press appearances, he had no public appearances, nothing.
All right. So that's why people were all over. Okay.
And then over the weekend, the White House or someone, I probably wasn't from the White House specifically, but someone was like, "Look, here's Donald Trump playing golf." And then everyone was like, "Yeah, you've already given us this photo, and it was not from today."
Wow.
So I don't really know. I mean, we saw him earlier today at a press conference.
For his big announcement?
Yeah, for his big announcement. That was, I'm going to move the Space Academy.
Yeah.
I don't know. But he's seemingly fine. But in certain corners of the internet, there are people that are like, seriously convinced that he is like dead and the White House is covering him up.
Interesting. Yeah. Maybe we just need to talk about how old Donald Trump is. I mean,
he's like 79 years old. He's not any younger than Biden
He's old.
was.
He's in failing health. I mean, they did it with our guy. We might as well. That's the least we can do, right, Georgie?
Honestly.
Donald Trump is old.
He is old. But unfortunately, being old and his maybe not fine health have not stopped him from wreaking pain and terror and all kinds of miserable things across this country.
Right. Not only is he old, but he's a crazy psycho.
Yeah,
and
don't forget that part.
He's the president of the United States.
Yeah. So one of the major things we saw happen in the last couple of days was the ending of the de minimis loophole.
What's that?
De minimis is Latin for of little importance. Doesn't matter a whole lot. But the de minimis loophole that Trump ended via executive order essentially says that, hey, we're not going to charge you insane taxes and tariffs on packages from overseas if they're less than $800. So you order a t-shirt or a mug or something and you don't really pay import fees on that. Now, if you were to order like a 17-piece living room set, you would probably pay import fees on that.
Okay.
But so this de minimis loophole has been ended, which means anytime you try to ship something to your house in Montana in the U.S., you're going to pay fees on that now, regardless of how much it costs. Could be a $10 water bottle, and you're still going to pay some kind of a fee on that. And just to make it all worse, when Trump ended this, he kind of flat rated the new fees. So for the next 6 months, anytime you import anything from overseas, if you can get the other country to send it our way, you're going to be paying between $80 and $200 per package.
So for that water bottle from...
Hypothetically, yes. We'll see if this actually is how it comes out in practice, but that is what they are saying.
That would be crazy.
Right. And so you're looking at $80 to $200 from now until 6 months from now. And then after 6 months, fees are going to go down to 10 to 50% of the package's value. So if you buy that same $10 water bottle, you could pay anywhere from an extra $1 to an extra $5.
So, like, for Americans to maybe save a little money, like, the smart thing to do would not be to purchase something internationally from these countries that
Right.
Trump is tariffing.
It's really anywhere.
Wow.
This was an international trade practice that basically said, "Hey, our people don't want to pay crazy import fees on stuff that's not worth a whole lot.
Sure.
Your people don't want to pay crazy import fees on
Right.
things that they get from us.
So it was like
So
a
let's
mutual.
let's just call it off.
Got it.
No one pays anything."
So with the de minimis missing,
Yep.
okay, that makes. Okay, I
So
see.
now we're paying fees on things that we import into the country.
Okay, so I imagine like the vast majority of goods and services that like Americans purchase or like order online, I'm sure like the vast majority
Right.
of things are under that.
So that means
Limit.
that people are going to have to start really looking at where they're placing their Amazon orders.
Yeah. Wow.
And if you're picking something in Amazon for $20 and then you're going to your cart to check out and it's telling you that it's $50 or however much it might be,
Wow.
this is probably why. This and tariffs and what other insane economic policy he's come up with are actively raising prices across the board. And his whole bit for this is because he wants people to buy American.
Right.
He wants people to buy from here in the States. And that's fine. That's great. Not everything can be bought here.
Right. And we know that. I mean, we've been a globalized world for many years now.
Right.
I remember my first political science course in college was called Globalization. And it basically talked about how we now live in a globalized economy
Right.
and how we will never go back
Yeah.
to not trading goods and services internationally. And because we already do, like it's the structure we have, we'll never go back to like everything being manufactured in the United
Right.
States. We'll never go back to, you know, 3/4 of people working for an industrial, you know, company. That's just not what's going to happen. Even though
Right.
that's what Trump wants, made in America, support, you know,
Right.
only American.
We can't grow coffee here. We can't grow
Yeah.
chocolate here.
Yeah.
Like, there are all kinds of things that you simply can't be done here. Not because people don't want to, or because people don't want to work, or because it's expensive, or anything like that. Simply because it can't be done. Because we don't have the weather patterns. Because we
Since
don't
you
have the
said
resources.
coffee, I'm thinking like, oh my God, what if coffee became too expensive? There's literally coffee in here right now. Like I might
Yeah.
have to move, girl.
Yeah.
I might
Yeah.
have to.
That's what I mean. And like, God forbid you like a fancy coffee that you import from Colombia, like as a treat on occasion.
Yeah.
Good luck with that.
Oh,
But so in response to more of this crazy economic policy, the rest of the world has kind of said, yeah, guys, you are on your own. See ya never. We're talking most of the EU, so we're talking Italy, France, Germany, the UK, India, Japan, Taiwan.
wow.
All of these countries have simply said, okay, we just won't ship to you anymore.
So for the next 6 months.
So, it kind of seems indefinite to me at this
Wow.
point. They have suspended postal service. So that also means like if you have family in the EU that you like write letters to or send money to in the mail or anything like that, you're probably not gonna be able to get anything back from them if you can get it there.
Wild.
So
Wild.
it's got big impacts for people's pocketbooks, but it also has pretty big impacts as to where the US stands internationally. And it seems to me like we are increasingly pulling into a corner by ourselves. And we have really no one around us anymore.
Yeah. Well, also, like, Trump is basically turning us into isolationists, you know, like by being so nationalist, it's isolating the rest of the world from us. I can't believe he's this stupid. Well, and also, like, the courts are rejecting his tariffs, saying they're unconstitutional. A recent
Right.
appellate court
And
cited
then they
7-4.
but we can't make him pull them back. They said, yeah, this is unconstitutional, but they can stay, I guess. Like, this is the
Crazy.
court system we're supposed to be trusting right now?
Wow.
That's wrong, but keep doing it anyways?
I think so. They're basically saying Congress needs to step in, right, and do something.
Yeah.
But we know Congress is not doing a thing as far as the tariffs go.
Pretty much.
And also, Democrats don't have the number in Congress to.
Yeah. I mean, we've got an executive branch that thinks they can do whatever they want, whenever they want to. We have a judiciary that does not seem inclined to get in his way whatsoever. And Congress is just his lapdog.
Right.
They're off chasing bones left and right and have no clue or don't care what he's up to.
Unless it has to do with Jeffrey Epstein.
So, Andy, another thing that Republicans swore up and down to God that they weren't going to cut was Medicare. They pinky promised that they weren't going to cut Medicare in the big beautiful bill. And that was their whole justification was, we're not cutting Medicare, we're not cutting Social Security, so these cuts to literally everything else are fine, right? To no one's surprise, that was just a bunch of bullshit. Because it recently came out that between 2027 and 2034, Medicare could see about $491 billion in cuts.
That's a lot of money. It's
Yeah,
a lot of people.
That's a lot of money, and that's a lot of seniors who rely on Medicare to go to the doctor.
People with disabilities.
Right. So basically how we got here is they're either intentionally cruel or they're dumb enough that they don't know how to do their jobs.
It's totally both.
Both are concerning. If both are true, I'm
Definitely
scared.
both.
So there were no written cuts into the Big Beautiful Bill. There are no Medicare cuts in the Big Beautiful Bill.
So what is
This is
this
true.
new thing?
Right. There is a 2010 law that is still on the books that makes broad cuts to federal programs when legislation is passed that increases the national debt. So when Republicans pass the Big Beautiful Bill, which raises the national deficit by about $3.4 trillion, this law gets triggered to make cuts across federal programs in an effort to keep the budget balanced.
Wow. So are other federal programs going to get cut too?
I am unsure. The one I've seen like for sure numbers on is Medicare. I'm not sure what other programs may or may not be affected.
That's wild. So this is a whole loophole that they knew.
That's why I say they're either intentionally cruel or they're
Yeah.
so dumb they don't know how to do their jobs. Because when they were writing the bill, they either knew this was going to kick in on the back end, and they said, guys, we can tell them we're not cutting Medicare because if they read it, we're not.
Right.
That'll happen later.
And they knew that the deficit was going to be
Right, they
increased
knew
by
it was raising the deficit.
$3.4 trillion.
Yeah.
Is that right? Yeah.
So they
Like,
either,
they knew that, people.
Yeah.
They knew they were
all of
increasing the
this.
deficit.
They knew all of this. And they're still not doing anything about it. And the only way to prevent these cuts from happening is for Congress to intervene and like make adjustments or do whatever financial things they need to do. But that is the only thing right now that can prevent these Medicare cuts is congressional intervention. And let me tell you, my hopes for that are not high.
Not right now.
But isn't that convenient timing? 2027. God, that's so nice for them that's when they kick into effect.
Yeah.
After the midterms, just before the presidential election in 2028. That's really convenient. It's almost like they did it on purpose. And that's how most of the things in the Big Beautiful Bill are. And everyone needs to be aware of this, is that Medicaid cuts, SNAP cuts, things like that don't go into effect until late 2026 or after the midterms.
Most massive bill packages like this don't. So when we talk about things like the Big Beautiful Bill, the infrastructure bill from the Biden administration, the rescue plan from the COVID days, it takes years to implement a lot of these things.
Totally.
Sometimes it doesn't even start till the next administration.
True. But I wouldn't be totally honest if I didn't think there was some political maneuvering of those dates.
I think you may be right. So I've been seeing some stuff online about the roadless rule. Is that like Montana's former reasonable and prudent speed limit?
So the roadless rule is actually a 2001 law from the Department of Agriculture. And basically what it says is it protects 60 million acres of federal land, much of which is roadless, from road construction and corporate interests coming in, trying to develop the land or harvest it or whatever. Again, 2001. So this has been on the books for a long time.
And it was created during the Bush years.
Yeah!
During a Republican presidency.
Yeah. So yeah, the roadless rule protects about 60 million public land acres across the country. And then it's about 6.3 million acres in Montana.
Wow.
That this rule applies to.
So a tenth of that is in Montana.
Yeah. I believe we are second in states that would be most affected by this. I think Alaska's first with like 15 million, and Idaho is second with around 9, if memory serves. But yeah, so that's a lot of land. And that's a lot of land that Montanans have been spending generations on. Like, those are people's, like, great-great-great-grandpa's, like, old hunting spots and things like that. And the reason why they are so special is because you can't get to them with a car.
Right.
You can't just drive right up there and park and, like, camp.
Yeah.
You gotta hike. You gotta, like, move yourself there without the help of an automobile or technology or whatever.
Yeah, these attacks on public lands are heartbreaking. I mean, just an hour ago, I was in my office talking to my colleague about what she did over the Labor Day weekend. Her and her spouse went hiking in the Bob Marshall.
Yep.
They went to the Chinese Wall. And it's beautiful, by the way. If you've never seen any pictures or have ever been there, look up the Chinese Wall in the Bob Marshall Wilderness. They spent about 3 days hiking out there in the middle of nowhere. She said, like, you camp at night and you just see the stars and nothing else, like no light pollution. They saw a wolverine.
Really?
A wolverine.
I feel like that's crazy rare.
It is crazy rare.
That's so... I mean, that was probably terrifying. But
yeah.
I bet that's pretty cool.
But, like, things like that. If,
right.
you know, the more public lands our corrupt government officials keep getting rid of, like, the less experiences like that people will have. We're fortunate here in Western Montana to have a massive space like the Bob Marshall, but, you know, the more you chip away at things, it'll be gone in an instant.
Right. And I mean, speaking of the Bob, I'm just going to read off this list so I don't screw up any of these numbers. But out of that 6.3 million acres that I told you is at risk in Montana, there are parcels of land in every single national forest in Montana that the roadless rule applies to and would no longer apply to. We're talking 478,000 acres in the Bob Marshall and in Flathead National Forest, 552,000 acres near the Crazies and the Madison Range, 600 acres around the Cabinets, 200,000 in Bitterroot National Forest and 1.3 million in Beaverhead Deer Lodge National Forest. And they're literally just selling all of this so that freaking billionaires can make another buck.
Yeah, it's
That's
not
it.
like you and I will be able to afford
No, right.
to buy property
Right.
out. Yeah,
It's just they're either going to commercialize it and harvest all of it for profit. And so our lands just won't look the same. I guess it'll technically be still there, but it's not really the mountains if they're all bare, is it? And the other thing they're trying to claim that why they want to repeal the Roadless rule is for forest management and fire management. And that's why we need to repeal the protections on the public land.
so their logic is like the less land to take care of, the easier for the fire management.
I think the argument is that because they are roadless, like, there is less access for, like, fire management crews to, like,
Dumb.
get in there. And, like, I kind of understand that.
But it's nature.
Right.
You know?
But when the Roadless Rule was created, they put fire suppression guidelines, like, in it. They weren't just like, no one can access this.
Right.
Like, there's rules and guidelines and things that, like, the Forest Service has to follow to, like, maintain the land.
Right.
But given that most wildfires start because of sparks from, like, chains and cars,
People.
let's put roads.
Human beings. Yeah.
Let's put roads up there so that we can potentially cause more fires. Because that's what we're worried about. And, I mean, naturally, Daines, Downing, and Gianforte, they've all come out in favor of this.
Of course.
Saying that it's a big win, and we're restoring common sense, and we should have done this a long time ago. And, like, frankly, Greg Gianforte should just stay out of the public lands arena. Mr. I sued to block stream access. This is not your conversation.
Yeah.
You can see yourself out of it. But even for, like, the timber aspect of it, because that's a big thing that Gianforte's always been pushing, is that, like, the timber industry needs to come back to Montana and so on and so forth. But when they passed the roadless rule in 2001, the Forest Service did a study to look and see the impact to Montana's timber industry. Like, are we going to completely kill off an industry in this state if we go forward with this? And the Forest Service report said that the land that applies under the roadless rule was responsible for less than 1% of Montana's timber, like, output. So, I'm running out of words here, Andy. Like, it just makes no sense.
Their argument is moot and makes no sense. Frankly, Gianforte's been in office for, 5 years, 6 years? He's not doing shit for the timber industry. So if that's what he keeps telling people, his second term's almost up, baby. What you gonna do, Greg? You better do something fast, because you got nothing to show for it.
No, literally. But, so the Department of Agriculture is still pretending to abide by democratic rules. They are accepting public comment. They're accepting public comment until September 19th. You can head to montanademocrats.org/roadless-rule, and that'll give you all the information you need to file a public comment and hopefully save some of our public lands, because Lord knows our representatives aren't going to do it.
Yeah. Yeah, and I just want to say, people listening, our representation in Washington, D.C. right now doesn't give a damn about our public lands.
No, could care less.
Montanans that care for them and have for generations. They are giving Donald Trump the stamp of approval on every anti-public lands bill they possibly can.
Yeah.
Pay attention.
And Greg, if you're listening, now might just be the time to turn it off, because we're still really unhappy with you. Or at least I am. Andy, are you familiar with the fire that's out by Drummond right now?
I am.
Has been for a little bit.
I am. I was out there all weekend. Justin and I spend half our week at his farm there.
How's the smoke?
Pretty bad.
Yeah, I believe that.
Pretty bad.
So it's called the Windy Rock Fire. It's about 1% contained. It's at 4,000 acres. There's almost 800 people working on this fire.
Wow.
And it's been going for quite a while now. A couple of weeks, I think. And so the state's been involved at this point. And Gianforte announced last week that he's secured a FEMA grant. And FEMA is the federal agency responsible for disaster management and such. And so that grant is meant to help the state pay down some of their costs for fighting this fire.
Right.
Because, like, we've got homes to protect and land and all kinds of things.
Yeah.
Fire has to be put out.
And the state can't do that kind of
Right.
damage control on their own.
Right. That's a really heavy financial lift, and that's
Right.
kind of the whole reason FEMA exists.
Exactly. Like when Katrina happened literally 20 years ago this month, I think, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah. They wouldn't have been able to do anything after that
Right.
disaster if it wasn't for FEMA.
So that's the context. But for the last couple of weeks, months, however long it's been, Donald Trump has been saying that he wants to completely eliminate FEMA as an agency after hurricane season ends this year. So
Because he thinks when natural disasters occur and there's no safety net, we'll just magically be okay?
Maybe. I think he thinks it's the state's problem to deal with, which is kind of crazy.
Even though you literally just said his Republican crony, our governor, just got a big grant from FEMA to help.
Yes.
And again, FEMA is federal money, not state money.
Yes.
So Donald Trump, again, is a hypocrite.
Yep, and so is Greg Gianforte. You don't get to pose with the president, like, on the campaign trail. Mr. I love Donald Trump. I support everything he does. He's going to make America great. When you come out in, like, support of someone like that, you are also supporting their policies. Which means, Greg, you're supporting the acts to FEMA, but then you're going to turn around and apply for FEMA money? I swear to God, it is literally always, well, yeah, it's for me, but not for thee.
Yeah.
With these assholes. And it pisses me off so much.
Yeah.
So Greg thinks he gets disaster money when he needs it. But I promise you that, like, if Oregon had a similar fire, he'd have a problem with it. For no reason other than that it's a blue state.
Which is terrifying to even think about.
Right.
Like when a natural disaster occurs and the people in that state are worried about the support they're going to get from the feds because they live in a state that's not in line with the current administration's politics. That is screwed up. That is so screwed up.
Right. As if, like, the state revenue of Oregon and California, as if their taxes to the federal government don't pay for states like Montana and Missouri and smaller red states. That's the whole purpose of having a federal government, is that some states are small and don't make a whole lot of money, and other states are big and they do make money. So let's make sure everyone has money.
This reminds me of the California wildfire in LA.
Yeah.
And how, well, because also Donald Trump hates Gavin Newsom, the governor of California. So there's that, but also California is a blue state. Donald Trump did everything in his power to make it hard for those agencies in California to get federal funding to clean up the massive amount of damage from the LA fires. Like, oh, it makes my blood curdle.
No, and I guess this is what I mean. It's like, when we say they don't care about you, they don't care about you. They don't care if your house burns down in a fire. They don't care if you can't afford to pay your energy bill. They don't care. If it doesn't make them $1, that's it.
So I had a great Labor Day weekend.
This is a great topic change. I might start throwing things. What'd you do this weekend?
Well, first of all, I just want to say thank you to unions.
So
we
true.
love a union. We support a union. We are union members.
So true.
Working for the Montana Democratic Party. Yeah, you know, if it wasn't for unions, we wouldn't have 40-hour weeks, we wouldn't have great healthcare plans, we wouldn't have a lot of things.
Yeah.
And so we owe a lot of credit to unions, and I intentionally spent a lot of time over the weekend thinking about, you know, how the great things they've done for this country and the people here. So that's why we celebrate Labor Day. So thank you, laborers. But over Labor Day, I went to a gay wedding.
Oh!
Yes, yes. It was magical.
Good.
I love a wedding, let alone a gay wedding as a gay man. But very timely, and really, like, after I got home and was coming down from the high of the dancing and the cake and all the great food. But it made me think, like, I can't take this for granted because gay marriage has only been legal in this country for a decade. And it's literally on the Supreme Court's doorstep. They're going to be taking up this challenge to gay marriage this year. And, you know, we don't know, but gay marriage may not be legitimate
An option
anymore.
Yeah.
We live in an ever-changing environment. Much of this is due to the Donald J. Trump administration and the after effects of that in the current makeup of the Supreme Court. And, you know, time will tell. But yeah, we just can't take those things for granted. I'm very lucky and privileged to be an openly gay man that lives in a state like Montana. And if I wanted to get married today, I could.
Right.
You know, when I was younger, I didn't think that would be a reality. And this weekend just really made me think about that. So anyway, it was lovely to be at a wedding. I love a wedding. And also just a reminder to folks out there, don't take things for granted and fight for the things that are important.
Yeah. We got a wedding coming up later this month. I love wedding season. I just love weddings. Let's see what I do. I spent the weekend in Spokane and Coeur d'Alene, actually. It was my partner's mom's birthday, and so we went out to visit her. We went to a baseball game. We spent the day at Silverwood. We did both sides of the park. I've only ever done the roller coasters. I've never been to the water park before, so that was fun. But I think I had a good weekend of, like, kind of resetting now that summer is kind of officially over with the close of August, and with Congress going back in session, I'm sure our lives are about to get real interesting. But yeah, I think it was a good weekend for me to rest and reflect and recharge a little bit before moving forward.
Yeah. Cool.
Oh, but that reminds me, primaries for the city council elections
Municipal races.
Yeah,
yep.
municipal races are September 9th.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're listening to this, your ballot is in your mailbox. If you haven't pulled it out of your mailbox already, and this is my reminder to go get mine, fill out your ballot and either drop it. I would drop it off at this point. And we're recording on the 2nd, which is a week out. I would drop your ballot in person at your polling place or your elections office.
Yeah, local elections are just as important, if not more, than big federal race elections. So research the candidates running for city council, mayor, whatever you have on your ballot. It's really important, folks.
Yeah, those are the people who make decisions about roads and curfews.
Who's going to fill that pothole?
Yeah, the things that actually affect you in your day-to-day life.
What city agencies receive funding?
Yeah.
Lots of things. The budget, where our taxes go to.
Zoning, housing, all of that is local government.
Yep.
So if you want to say, or you've been one of literally all 1.1 million of us Montanans who've complained about the housing crisis, go have a say in local government. And I think that's all we've got. We'll see you next week.